Okay, we got a permission to come on a friend's property and metal detect around the area. He told me the old post office for Paige, Texas was on his property, and it was near this well. The well does have water down in there, pretty far down. It's I'm judging about 15 to 20 feet down. And they got some old T-posts here and some tin that probably was a roof cover over it. There's an extra old brick there. And they said that the remains of the old post office were on that side. And we walked all around there earlier today with our metal detectors and our shovels and everything, and we never saw it. We did come across a trash dump over here where there's a lot of stuff, and we found like an old Chevrolet emblem, which I'll show you later, probably from a grill from a car or truck. And we found a big old metal hook, and we found some broken china, and which I'm going to see if I can clean up and glue back together. And I found a lot of broken glass and a lot of rusty nails, and all that stuff was right here in these big holes that I left behind. Kind of marked the spot. Okay, there's a piece of square bottle that dug out of that hole, and then this hole is where I found most of the white china, which I'll show you later. And there's this big metal band. There's a bunch of broken glass there, and we never saw the foundation he was talking about from the old post office. But if I had turned around and looked at these trees and just walked around them, which I had walked over to this clearing over here, because that, you know, there's nothing to explain why. Look at this field. See how green and wild it is, and over there there's nothing. So I thought that was the floor of the old building. But if I just walked over here and looked a little closer, you see what I see right in front of me? You see that? That's a right angle wall of concrete and rock coming to this corner right here, and then going off over here. And it's all grown up with yopon. There's a break in the wall right there, and then there's a lower part of the wall right here, and then the break continues to here, and then there's some sections which could have been broken out of there, but that looks pretty flat. I think that used to be maybe just regular, and I think that was meant to be like that. There's some chunks of brick mortared, mortared together over here. This is all nice smooth cement wall. Look at that, stretching out here. If it were a bear, I'd be dead. So found it. It looks like sandstone almost, the way it looks, but it sure looks like poured concrete over rock, and it all goes through this yopon. Gonna have to come back here with some clippers and cut all this stuff. And that looks like it was broken right there. Maybe not. Oh, here's another piece of it right here. So this could have been a doorway maybe, because there's from there to right there is about 6 feet, and then this wall goes up here. We'll have to excavate it. There's another section of it right there. Don't know how well it's going to show up on the phone camera. And it goes off this way. There's the wall that I traversed just a little bit ago, and let's see, that wall is coming right underneath all this stuff up into that stuff. So it kind of disappears underneath all this dirt and yopon and stuff. And there's greenbrier to contend with. Oh, what's this? This looks like a piece of wall right here. Can you all see that? Right there. Or floor. It should be over 100 years old, because I've got some old topographical maps that show buildings in this area, and Paige is a nice established town where it is now. So if there were a lot of buildings over here and this is the post office, it would have been a long time ago, over maybe like 150 years ago or something. So very interesting. The amateur archaeologist in me, I majored in it in college, I just never finished college, wants to come back and clear all this stuff. I'll talk with a landowner and see if I can't clear all this stuff from here and do a proper excavation. We'll bring in a box with a screen in it to sift through all the dirt and see what we can find from this site. And then we'll expand our search out from it. Just a reminder, the trash dump that we found was just, I'd say it was north of here, right in that sunny area, just to the left of that, on the other side of this very tall pine tree. And the well is right on the other side of that stand of trees. So if that is the old post office, definitely an old building of some sort, and that's a well, there could have easily been other old buildings around here. I may have to get an army of metal detector people out here to try and find everything that there is. All right, so that's pretty cool to find the old foundation or outline of the building here. Okay, so here's my haul for today. Went to a friend's property where I found an old well, which you saw earlier, or which I'll show you later. I'm not sure how I'm going to put all these video clips together yet. And supposedly had the foundation for the old post office of Paige, Texas on it. Found a couple interesting things near the well, like this. Looks like it came off of a grill of a car or a truck or something. It's really heavy gauge metal. Found a whole lot of china that was broken up in this trash pit, along with this old buckle looking thing. And this one still has, like, it still rotates around this ring. As rusty as it all is, it didn't rust to it. I have no idea what this is. Just a big chunk of metal with some wire going through it. Maybe I'll see better once I clean it up. Part of the bottom of an old light bulb. This huge, monstrous hook, really heavy, and maybe it actually was a hook at one point and came up there and got broken off somehow, but it was in the trash pit. Found this. Not sure what this is from. Looks almost like part of a door handle thing, but not with this plate on here, which I haven't cleaned up yet to see if I can. Oh, almost could read it there. Something, a Western Electric Company. So it could be from an electrical box or something. And this looks like an old bullet, but I'm not sure what's inside the shell, because that looks like glass that's right there in the middle. It's kind of red looking. I found some old chicken wire. This looks like an old button. It's cloth. It's got this wire hook right here to sew onto. There's cloth that's deteriorating around the back. It's been buried in the ground for a while. You can see the cloth is just deteriorating in my hands. It's an old button. Found some old magnets close to this old house. I think this is the top of a flashlight. There's where the bulb would have been, and knobs here on the side for unscrewing. Yeah, I think that was from an old flashlight. Not sure what this was from. Looks like electrical, maybe an insulator of some sort. Here's the handle of one of these things. I think I got two different pieces of china here. This one is very ornately colored, very nice. And then this one has finer designs in it with these little diamonds and these little, I don't know if you can see it there, these little lines going across. And there's some other pieces with the diamonds in it. and stuff. There's some printing there, but it got broken off to where I can't read it. So some interesting stuff. This is a pottery too, but could have been a planter maybe. It's very orange and more clay-like fired stuff. Found an old Vicks Vapor Rub bottle, all intact, blue, full of dirt. What else? This says lined. I don't know what it was lined with, but it was some old white bottle. What else here? Found an old buckle in the trash dump, and or not in the trash dump. This was elsewhere, and this was all together. I just pulled it out of my pouch, and it was in two different pieces. So I think I can put that back together. Let's see. Found a railroad spike because it was like a stone's throw from the railroad. Don't know what that is. I kept this bottom of a jar, and I did it because of these circles. I don't see if you can, or I don't know if you can see them that clearly, but the way it looks is though it were handmade. I don't know what else to call it, because these concentric circles, it wasn't like poured, I don't think. Don't know what it came from. Other various chunks of metal that didn't make sense. It's not just this nail looking thing coming out, this nail looking thing coming out of this blob that's metallic. This blob is metallic also. And then all of this is metallic. It looks almost like a handle for something, and the shank of which went up into the handle, which is maybe why the whole thing is metallic. I don't think they burned the trash pile. Found an old baby deer antler, part of the skull on there. And I found one penny, modern penny, by their house. Looks like it's 1972 memorial cent. And found a 22 shell out in a field. And that's where I found this thing that looks like a hollow jacket bullet, but maybe not. Almost looks like it has paint on it. Found a whole bunch of shotgun shells out there in the field. They were all real close to each other, like they were just shooting for fun. Looks like maybe it's a 12 gauge. They're all very rusted, and haven't tried cleaning up yet. Winchester, I can't read it. Anyway, it's Winchester. Found, not the plastic bottle, found A&W root beer top and a lot of tin, all strewn around the area. Some of it was heavy gauge, and some of it was very light. This was all very light stuff. Found a whole lot of old iron nails, a lot of broken glass in that trash dump. I don't know what this is. It's metal. It's very thick gauge. It's very heavy. It's either solid aluminum or copper or something, which is kind of cool. But I didn't bring out the rest of the stuff, and I wish I had, because there's some very cool stuff that we also found. Let me get this other backpack out here. It's kind of heavy because they're big metal pieces that I had my son-in-law carrying back for us. Let's see here. Found this old screw cap. It's very, very heavy. Put that up there with the rest of my metal stuff. What else we got down in here? Let's see. Got another railroad spike. Another old rusty nail. Put that with my rusty nail collection. Not really collecting them. I'm just going to throw them away. I just wanted you all to see what I found today. And Gotta unzip this for the prizes. Hold on a second. I know this is probably not looking very good on the video, but so check this out. Looks like an old hubcap. Haven't begun to research it yet to see what it is with this big D here. It's got like bands welded, screwed or whatever around here. I'm gonna have to research that and see what that is. That's pretty cool. This was real close to the well. Don't know what it was. My son-in-law Brian, he said, "Oh, it's a directional arrow," and I'm like, "No, not this." The way that this is angled, like that, could have been bolted to something and could have been used as a hoe kind of thing to dig into the ground and pull. Or maybe it was put against something and bolted on as a supporting structure of some sort. Hopefully one of you guys can tell me what this is. And what else we get in here? This big old honker. Don't know what it went to. The pipe coming off on the right is flanged from a wider diameter to a more narrow diameter, but not as narrow on the other side. And you can see from the shape there that it must have pulled apart or got bent or something. Don't know what that went to either. And I think that was the majority of the big heavy stuff. Yep, that was it. So some interesting things here. Hopefully, if any of you have any insight on anything, maybe you can tell me. Especially these big pieces here, the hubcap looking thing, or the joint there, the pipe joint, or this arrow. I'm pretty sure that this was the top of a flashlight. If anybody disagrees with me, let me know. And I think this was an insulator, maybe for an electric fence or something. Not sure what that went for, but it's pretty heavy. Anyway, that was it. I got one Lincoln penny for my trouble and some other cool things. I'm gonna wash all the china up and see if any of the pieces fit together. You know, some of this, like the pieces that had this design, have this nice little painted floral thing around the lid, around the bowl part, like that. So, but I think this is totally something different. All these designs are on the inside, and the pattern that you saw, like this stuff here, is not on this anywhere around the outside. It just has painting stuff on the inside, which is getting very hot here in the sun in Texas. Anyway, that's it for today. Some big, interesting, large iron implement stuff. I didn't do the foundation for the old Paige post office or whatever the building was yet, because I just found it as we were leaving and we were all hot and beat for the day. But we will be back, and I'll show you in a video what it looks like, and we're going to try and get permission to go back and clean it all up so that we can hunt it and see what we can find. All right, bye-bye.